Hey everybody, welcome back to Trinity Dairy. Don't forget to like, share, comment, subscribe. You know the drill on all that. Check out our merch store if you're interested in any of that. And you can follow us on Facebook and Instagram. Today is June 8th, 2024. It's an absolutely beautiful day out. The sun is shining. There ain't a cloud in the sky right now. It's perfectly clear. There's a nice breeze blowing. Looks like it's going to be a really good day for making hay. Like I mentioned in the last video, the one field that I cut, I'm planning on actually dry baling that. I think that'll be plenty dry. There wasn't as much alfalfa in it. Might even small square bale it. I typically don't do that with first crop, but this looks like it's going to be some pretty good stuff. It's nice and young. And this field we're in now, this was just cut yesterday. There was a lot of alfalfa in here. I'll show you, see if the camera picks up. A lot of orchard grass too, but there was places out here where it was just solid alfalfa. There was hardly even any grass in it. And my experience with that has been, especially this time of the year, you're better off to wrap that stuff or make silage out of it some way, because that alfalfa can be really hard to dry around here. I had some a couple years ago. I mean, the dust was coming out of the baler, and it was just crunchy dry. I round baled it, put it in the shed, and actually a couple of those bales started burning on the inside, so I had to dig them all out of the shed. And if I would have wrapped them, they would have been fine. So that's what we're going to do with this. So I cut it yesterday. It's about 8:30 in the morning. I'm going to go out and rake it, and hopefully we can get it baled this afternoon. I don't know if I'll be able to get it wrapped this afternoon yet, just because of the time constraints, but if I can get it baled this afternoon and we can get it wrapped right away in the morning, that I don't think is going to hurt anything at all. So anyway, we're going to fire up the tractor here and get started. I've got the 820 John Deere. I've got the old rake hooked up. I talked about that a little bit in the last video too. My grandpa bought this rake new, same time he bought the Round Baler. I think it was 1991. And this was set up, so it's kind of neat. So each one of these you could put on the 3-point. Each one of them has their own frame. You could use it as an individual one, left or right hand. And then this main frame, that puts the two together. And then that's also set up for 3-point, so you could hold the whole thing on 3-point. But then he bought this cart for it. It follows the ground better when you got more, hillier ground and stuff than trying to run it on the 3-point. You've seen too, I bought another rake, a V-rake. It's an 8-wheel. It's on transport. It's hydraulic fold up. And that's a good rake too. It raises a lot slower. It kind of raises one side at a time. This one here, when you raise it, it raises the whole cart up. So you can kind of maneuver around the field a lot faster. The reason I like the other one, or I got the other one, was going field to field, especially if I'm having Justin or somebody rake. He can fold that up himself, move from field to field. If you've seen some of our older videos with this rake, if you want to go someplace where you got to get through where it's narrow, you got to fold every side all up by hand. It's kind of a pain. But I actually do like raking with this rake better. And all these fields around here close I can get to with it folded out. So anyway, we'll fire up here and we'll get raking. we go, all raked up. That took me not quite 2 hours, hour and 45 minutes or so. So that went pretty good. Now we'll leave the sun work on it a little while. I'm gonna go put the rake away for now off to the side, and then I gotta run to town and get some twine and some bale wrap. And then I'll get the wrapper pulled out, get that ready, and by then we can probably start baling.
Hey guys! Hi guys! Someone help me! This is my truck.
Greeley, Colorado.
Hey, this is my truck. This is my truck. Don't touch. Hey boys, stick on the trail.
Here you go. It's a perfect size.
Perfect size for you. Oh, the truck? That's a perfect size for me. It's perfect size for me. This is like that. It's perfect size for me. The steering wheel is on the opposite side.
Hey everybody, we're back. It's about 1:30 in the afternoon. Got the baler, tractor and baler out here, fired up, ready to go. I was just checking the hay, and it's been sitting now all raked. There was quite a bit in these heavier spots. I turned up a lot of green when I raked it, which I figured I would. Been beautiful sun, nice wind. It's taken a lot of the moisture down, so I think we're going to give it a shot. If I had a silage baler and stuff, I would bale it no problem. I think they recommend about 50% moisture for baleage. I don't typically bale it that wet just because I don't have the equipment. You know, it's not a silage baler, and I don't really have heavy enough loaders to move really big bales. But I think that baler is rated about a 1,200 pound bale, and I usually make them about, it'll make a 5-foot high bale, and it's about 5 feet wide, but I usually try to make them about 4 feet high, just to cut down on the weight a little, so you're maybe running that 1,200 pounds with a smaller bale. And this field it's uneven, you know. Here where the hay is heavy, there's a lot of green in it. You get in the spots where it was grassier or thinner, that hay is going to be a lot drier. So that's kind of what we're going to do here. I do have a moisture probe, but I can kind of tell by looking here. I mean, this is nice and green, this is crunchy. I think it's ready to go. So we're going to make some bales and see what happens. I don't know if you've watched videos before, you know what we got for a baler, but it's a New Holland 853. It was one of the last, if not the last year of the chain balers. I think it's a 91. Grandpa bought it new. It's been a really good baler. The chain balers kind of got a bad rap because the older ones made a kind of a puffy bale. They weren't real tight. They had the big springs for the tension on them. This one has airbags for tension, so it makes a good bale. If you drive too fast, it'll make a softer bale, but you can make a really nice bale with it. I know I always get comments that it needs a bath. I've never washed it. I guess I could wash the outside tin on it, but I get really nervous about washing round balers because you get water in those bearings with the pressure washer, and next thing you know, you got a baler fire. So I guess I'd rather have a dusty baler than one that's on fire. I do take the air and blow it off occasionally, but hey, we've had it for 30 years and it works as good dusty as it does clean, I guess. So if I would wash it, and as far as if I would wash it all the time and it's all shiny paint, baler this old, I don't think it's going to make much difference on the resale value of it anyway. So it works for what we need, and I try not to, it bales this higher moisture hay good. I just try not to overload it with too much weight. I know one year I had some alfalfa. I cut it, it was straight alfalfa, and with the intention of wrapping it, but I was going to leave it sit a couple days, and all of a sudden they started calling for rain, so I went out and baled it, and I baled those bales probably only about 3 feet high, and they were heavy. They were, I would bet they were 1,200 pounds at least. They were just little. So anyway, we're going to get fired up here and see what happens. There's bale number one. Let's check that out. I would say the height is pretty good. It's right about here. So we're about that 4 foot, I would say, maybe a little over. I didn't measure it, but seems good and tight. I think that's about perfect. It seemed like the baler and tractor were handling it all right, so I think we'll stay about there, and we'll go with that. So we're gonna keep on going here and see if we can get this done.
you're out